Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Once you label me, you negate me. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought, which they seldom use. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. I see it all perfectly. There are two possible situations. One can either do this or that. My honest opinion and my friendly advice is this: do it or do not do it. You will regret both. Don't forget to love yourself. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. The tyrant dies, and his rule is over. The martyr dies, and his rule begins. Our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts. Face the facts of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. Most men pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that they hurry past it. Patience is necessary, and one cannot reap immediately where one has sown. Boredom is the root of all evil, the despairing refusal to be oneself. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Listen to the cry of a woman in labor at the hour of giving birth. Look at the dying man's struggle at his last extremity, and then tell me whether something that begins and ends thus could be intended for enjoyment. It seems essential, in relationships and all tasks, that we concentrate only on what is most significant and important. At the bottom of enmity between strangers lies indifference. It belongs to the imperfection of everything human that man can only attain his desire by passing through its opposite. Why bother remembering a past that cannot be made into a present? Cultivate the will. This is the armor that preserves the mind. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate, and call it happiness. I opened my eyes, and saw the real world, and I began to laugh, and I haven't stopped since. The best response to criticism is to smile and forget. If you don't have many friends, that means you have a lot of life experience. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Love is all, it gives all, and it takes all. People understand me so poorly that they don't even understand my complaint about them not understanding me. Take away paradox from the thinker, and you have a professor. Life has its own hidden forces, which you can only discover by living. Personality is only ripe when a man has made the truth his own. Far from idleness being the root of all evil, it is rather the only true good. Be that self, which one truly is. Faith is the highest passion in a human being. Many, in every generation, may not come that far, but none comes further. Purity of heart is to will one thing. During the first period of a man's life, the greatest danger is not to take the risk. Love does not alter the beloved, it alters itself. Trouble is the common denominator of living. It is the great equalizer. If I am capable of grasping God objectively, I do not believe, but precisely because I cannot do this, I must believe. One can advise comfortably, from a safe port. I begin with the principle that all men are bores. Surely, no one will prove himself so great a bore as to contradict me in this. The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have. Knowledge is a wealth that cannot be stolen. It is impossible to exist without passion. The self-assured believer is a greater sinner in the eyes of God than the troubled disbeliever. On the secretly blushing cheek is reflected the glow of the heart. Happiness is the greatest hiding place for despair. It is very important in life to know when your cue comes. My sorrow is my castle. A no does not hide anything, but a yes very easily becomes a deception. Hope is a passion for the possible. Therefore do not deceive yourself. Of all deceivers, fear most yourself. My standpoint is armed neutrality. The only intelligent tactical response to life's horror is to laugh defiantly at it. To be lost in spiritlessness is the most terrible thing of all. What is youth? A dream. What is love? The dream's content. Whoever has learned to be anxious in the right way has learned the ultimate. It is better to get lost in the passion than to lose the passion. For it is not what happens to me that makes me great, but it is what I do. Life has become a bitter drink to me, and yet it must be taken in drops, counted one by one. Faith begins precisely where thinking leaves off. What distinguishes all love from lust is the fact that it bears an impression of eternity. The highest, after all, is not to comprehend the highest, but to do it.